I think we can all agree on one thing. We've all had a fair share of terrible stories that we've narrated, or we found, or hell, even we've written. And, as surprising as this is going to be, that's exactly what my case was. Especially back when I had originally started up the Creepypasta fandom way back around 2013. Yes, I've been a member of the Creepypasta community for well over 7+ years, and counting at this point. And to be completely honest, this was a creepypasta that I had written around that time, 2013. And let me just start this all off by saying that everybody has a start, and this was exactly what my start was. Let me tell you, my little shadows, this is an old shame that I have. I mean, sure enough, I've got plenty of other shames. I've got fan fictions that I'm so freaking glad are gone and will never ever surface the light of day ever again. I've had, pictures and everything I've drawn that are just so god awful that I'm glad I've never posted it on the internet. However, this is one shame that I have that will continue to follow me throughout the rest of my life. It is a Back at the Barnyard Creepypasta I had written, and it is called Freddy'sDepressed.avi. Now, obviously, from looking at this title, it is god-awful in every way, shape, and form. First of all, the Freddy in the FR is capitalized. There is no punctuation. There is no quote. God, what do they even call it? There is no it's not even, put together. And I'm gonna straight out say this right now, the AVI part in this pasta isn't even, this is how painful it is to sit there and relive these kind of past stories, because it's kind of like traumatic memories. You want to sit there and you want to block them out as much as you can, but no matter how often you try and do that, it'll always one day come back and bite you in your ass repeatedly. This is exactly that. It's difficult to even go back to even looking at this piece of shit. But yeah, there is no apostrophe before the S. And obviously, so it's basically Freddy's, it's like more than one Freddy's, Depressed.avi. I mean, just looking at the title alone, it just looks so fucking awful. And this is exactly the kind of thing that I wrote. And for those of you asking, it is on the LOL Pasta Wiki, otherwise formerly known as the Troll Pasta Wiki. If you want to pause this video and go and look it up, you can easily find it under the Lost Episodes or the Lost Episode category of LOL Pasta. It's exactly where I'm on right now, so if you happen to look and you want to try and find it, go in the Lost Episode section, go in the F section, and you will find it. Now, I really don't want to go out of my way and narrate this pile of absolute horse excrement, but I feel as though it's necessary to do so. Why, I really don't know. But let's actually give this thing an entire read. Okay, I know you may not believe me, by the way, believe is spelled wrong, but this is real! A few days ago, I was just sitting on my living room couch, just watching TV and eating popcorn. It was 3:30 in the morning and I was going through some insomnia. I'm not fucking kidding with any of you when I say this. That's literally how I spelled insomnia. I literally put it as INSOMONY. Insomny. I mean, honestly, it's so close to saying insodomy, which honestly probably would have been a much better, word to sit there and put than this god-awful abomination of a piece of shit. Continuing. At the time when all of a sudden the show Back at the Barnyard was announced on Nick at Night. By the way, Nick at Night is not capitalized, and this entire sentence is nothing else more but a literal fucking run-on sentence. Oh, and not to mention the lowercase I. Seriously, I was fucking 13 years old when I made this pile of dog shit. I was in the middle of English class, grammar class. This is the kind of shit they sit there and they teach you. They go out of the way and they tell you, listen, dumbass, this is where you put the punctuation marks. This is what needs to be capitalized and this is what not needed to be capitalized. Then again, at that time, I was literally averaging about a C in that class, so maybe this is kind of a somewhat explanation for this god-awful, abominable, satanic, trashful garbage that is literally festering on my screen right now. But God, people, just reading even the first few sentences, if you even want to call it that, genuinely makes my blood boil. It makes me want to sit there and invent a fucking time machine, or sit there and go and steal Doc's, whatever the fuck they call it, that time machine thing that they had. I'm sorry, I haven't watched Back in the Future for a very long time. And just steal, or fucking go into the damn TARDIS and sit there and just jump in there and go back in time and just beat the holy living hell out of my past self for even considering making something as god awful as this. But we need to continue. I was a bit confused at this because, 1, it was early in the morning, and 2, the show wasn't supposed to air until 10 a.m. Yeah, more run-on sentences, no commas to sit there and separate the sentence itself to make it a lot more readable. And the fact that it just going into the typical Lost episode cliche category, so I'm not that surprised. Well, even though I decided to watch it, let me just stop right there and point out the obvious issues with this sentence. Well, even though I decided to watch it, okay, for one, the sentence itself should pretty much be, even then though I decided that it would be in my best interest to actually go out of my way and watch it. That right there is a better sentence because it sits there and actually makes some logical fucking sense. This, well, even though I decided to watch it, doesn't make any damn sense whatsoever. It makes no sense. And what's worse, that it's literally only, that's the only that's the only sentence in this entire pasta that actually was done correctly. The rest of it is just garbage. It's just pure garbage. Alright. The opening theme, by the way, theme is spelled wrong, went by normally. Seriously, you couldn't even fucking spell normally right. What the fuck was going on in your head past me? Were you seriously that mentally inept to not sit there and pull out a fucking dictionary and actually look up the damn word? It's not that fucking hard to spell, you fucking retarded piece of shit. Oh well, I'm ranting again. Well, I mean, I'm ranting at my past self, so I guess that's fine. But the only weird thing was that Freddy isn't capitalized, the little orange ferret was not in the song or in any of the scenes and kinda weirded me out. Yeah, of course, you know, a cartoon character not being there would weird you out. You know, maybe a more logical approach to this would be a little bit of level of confusion. Like maybe, you know, why the hell is he not there? I mean, especially if he's been in every single intro in the fucking show. You know, maybe, you know, a little bit confused, but weirded out. You know, okay, maybe if it was a very common occurrence, I could understand that, maybe, but it doesn't work in this sentence. It does not work in this sentence. But I thought another lowercase I, seriously, pass me, go fuck yourself, you piece of shit. It was a bit of a mix-up, so but I thought it was a bit of a mix-up, so I continued watching. Obviously, typical cliche shit. Now, when the title card came up, it wasn't. There is no apostrophe before the T, so it's fucked. The odd, funny, weird-looking title that showed, but a gloomy, depressing scene still, with a picture of Freddy crying and the rest of the animals with a horrific look on their faces and the words on the card saying Freddy's Depression. That run-on sentence was so god-awfully bad that I could barely fucking breathe. Excuse me for 1 second. I needed to get a little bit of, you know, a little bit of nicotine in my system for having to read that. That was actually physically painful to even go out of my way and read. I mean, it's such a god-awful run-on sentence. I mean, there's so many misspellings in this story. It makes... yeah. You know what? I'm gonna be honest with all of you. I give a lot of people on Geoshia a lot of shit for making god-awful piece of shit stories, but at the very least, some of those writers at least have the audacity to at least try with the grammar. You wanna know a little fun fact? I wrote this on Notepad. I'm not kidding with any of you. Not Microsoft Word, not, you know, Excel or anything like that. I wrote this on fucking Notepad on my old computer. And I think what's really sad is the fact that it took me quite literally, like, I think 2 hours to sit there and write this. 2 hours to write this god-awful abomination of a lost episode creepypasta that makes fucking Jeff the Killer look like a masterpiece in comparison. I mean, looking at it, my god, people, if you're actually going out of your way and you're reading this with me, you will see it for your, you see what I'm getting at, don't you? You see where I'm getting at. And it's like, you know, why are the animals having horrifying looks on their faces while Freddy's sitting there and having depression? And you know, so much of the fucking AVI file being mentioned. You know, because Freddy'sDepressed.avi is there, but it's actually Freddy's Depression. Then again, that's a typical cliche title. Obviously, they're sitting there and throwing sad, depressing, crying, hyper-realistic, bloody, psycho fuck tears, and everything rolling down those faces is a typical concept for Lost Episode pastas, so I'm not really that surprised that this is the case, but I'm just gonna completely and utterly fuck me. I'm continuing. Soon the episode starts, and it started with Freddy in his little compartment just sitting there. None of the animals had shown up, and there was no music at all, just Freddy sitting there alone. That's when things got a little weird. About 10 seconds after the scene music starts to play, and it wasn't fun or happy. God, the grammar on this makes me seriously want to fucking punch myself. Excuse me. There, I just slapped myself. This goes to past me. I really hope that in another dimension past me sits there and feels that. There is no fucking excuse for this god-awful piece of shit to be as bad as it is. There is no damn excuse, you fucking retarded past. It was depressing. After a few moments in listening to the song, I knew that it was a song from Evanescence called My Immortal. You've got to be fucking kidding me right now. My fucking Immortal from Evanescence. I think I quite literally invented a brand new cliche, people. I think I probably did. Oh my... Oh, My Immortal. My fucking Immortal. You know, I probably just invented a new horrible cliche. Incorporating pop music songs in a creepypasta just to sit there and add the level of atmosphere or some bullshit like that. I had to go out of my way and walk away from just going out of for just reading that. Oh my freaking god, people. I have no words. And by the way, for anybody wondering, this is a blind reading. I didn't write a script for this. I couldn't write a script even if I wanted to for this piece of shit. My fucking Immortal, and the My Immortal isn't even completely capitalized. My is, but Immortal isn't. You'd think that this idiotic fuckwit, me, in the past would sit there and thought, maybe I should sit there and, you know, put it in the actual title. I literally had the CD as well. I could have grabbed it. How fucking lazy was I to not sit there and do that? It's not difficult. You just sit there and be like, I have the DVD. Let me see it. Oh, that's how you spell My Immortal. Okay, I typed that down now. You know, that's no fucking excuse. And then the song played, Freddy started crying, and not like the crying you normally see in cartoons. No! It was somewhat realistic crying. I'm so sad right now. I'm sad because I had to sit there and go to my grandpa's. I had to sit there and go to the retirement home and give my grandpa a colonoscopy. I got shit all over me. It splattered all over me. I'm covered in brown turds and I didn't even clean myself. I smell like doo-doo and yeah, that kind of realistic crying. That's honestly a lot more realistic than this story. And realistic isn't even. Why am I even bothering? Why am I bothering? It's a shit story made by an edgy little 13-year-old fucktard online. Me. My jaw dropped and I wondered, what the fuck is this? You know, shockingly enough, what the fuck is this is actually done properly. Wow. Then after the black screen, it faded, it cut... Oh my fucking... Then after the black screen, it faded, it cuts to a new scene. This time, it's Freddy sitting at a desk with a... You couldn't! I sat there and... You fucking retarded piece of shit! You couldn't even get out of your fucking way to sit there and carefully spell the damn word pencil! How fucking retarded are you, you sack of shit? I had to get that out of my system. I apologize for that. And paper in his hands, and he starts to Okay. And while he writes, oh my fucking god, the term "right" isn't even spelled right. It's literally WRIGHTS. That's what I spelled it. Oh my fucking... The term "right" is WRITE, right. That's how you fucking spell it. You don't spell it like that. You know, if my English teacher wound up saying this, I really honestly had wished he would have given me an F. And at this time, I started to get a little upset myself. Then after he was done writing, he got up and... Oh my fucking god. I literally spelled the term "writing" correctly in this sentence. And left the desk, and the camera zooms in on what he said, and it shocked the hell out of me. This is what it said. Dear friends, I'm sorry for what I'm about to do, but I think it's for the best. My life has been a cesspool. You couldn't even spell cesspool right. Fuck you, author. Of hell. Yeah, of course, incorporate swearing into it. Peck, my so-called best friend, you never cared or comfort. By the way, I literally wrote this in italics, and I capitalized the rage parts. You never cared or comforted me when I need you most. Bullshit. You are my reason on why I am what I'm about to do. Pip, you stupid son of a oh my fuck. How much of an edgy little shit was I making this? Who thought that incorporating a shit ton of swearing in a creepypasta like this, a lost episode 1 of that, was a good idea? Seriously, what was going on through my head? Then again, I was the kind of person that sat there and wrote a religious fanfiction with Private becoming a priest after getting baptized. So yeah, that's another story for another day. Moving on. You are the reason, Pitch, you stupid son of a bitch. You just sat there and called me stupid. But in some cases you did comfort. Fuck. You couldn't even spell comfort right. It's conform. That's literally what the damn thing says. Con-fucking-form. Not comfort, conform. But that does not excuse you for what I'm about to do. Bessie, you little bitch, I hate you so much. You just sit there and insult me 24/7 and never take in any consideration to my feelings. And you are first to what I'm about to do. And the rest of you all, just be prepared. I hate you all. Freddy. Do I even need to begin to sit there and even start saying what is so fucking bad about this letter? Everything about this is so wrong. It reeks of so much edge that I'm surprised I haven't died of complete blood loss just from reading that. The edge in this is so god awful. I want to seriously grab. I'm honestly kind of surprised that, I'm not dead yet. Why? Why pass me? Why did you make this? I was shocked and scared at the same time. What did he mean by when he said, you couldn't even spell ready right. Pass me, you're a fucking failure. You are a sad excuse of a person. The very fact of the matter that you even excelled and even passed grammar class and even English 1 is a surprise to even me, and I'm literally you at the same time. If I was your English teacher, I would have given you the biggest fat F and then proceeded to tattoo that F on the top of your head to help you realize how much of a failure you genuinely are in life, you sad excuse of an individual. I don't give a shit how old you are when you made this past me. You could have you seriously could have just put it through a damn spell checker, Google Docs, any kind of place out there. You could have done any of those things, but you did not do such because you're a whiny little prick. Fuck you. I was so tempted to turn off my TV, but I had to watch the rest. Typical cliche. And after about 5 minutes of this, it cuts to Freddy still crying and holding a knife, otherwise known as a knife. But soon it starts to get scary. Oh no, not scary. No, please. Oh my god, I'm so scared. I'm hyperventilating. I'm so scared. This episode is like so spooky. Oh my freaking god. Becky, go give me my cornflakes. I can't deal with this anymore. I so want to talk to your manager right now. I am so triggered. This is so spooky for me. What the fuck did I just do? God, I'm a fucking idiot. I guess idiocy doesn't really grow out, does it? He soon stops crying, and he looks up at my face. It was locked in horror. His tears became tears of blood, and his teeth looked like a rabid dog's would look like. And why am I narrating this like it's some kind of erotic fan fiction? What the fuck is wrong with me? Tears and blood, and his teeth look like a rabid dog's would be like. Cliche. And his eyes, oh god, the eyes. His eyes soon became fully black like he was possessed by a demon derp. Then we hear Otis and the rest of the gang get home. But when they see Freddy, their faces turn to pure horror-stricken fear. Freddy just smiles and says in a demonic tone, "Let's get ready, senpai." Then the screen cuts to black for about 4 seconds. Then the final scene finally arrives, but the scene is horrible. If you've ever been to a slaughterhouse, you haven't seen nothing yet. Okay, before I actually get onto this, I'm just gonna say right now that this is basically gore for the sake of gore. I'm about to describe some really fucked up and disgusting things that likely are gonna make all of you throw up. But not for the gore aspect of it, but just from the sheer level of edgy, vomit-inducing bullshit that I thought that making this was... It's graphic, people. It's just excessively graphic. I don't even want to read this part. I feel sick to my stomach just even considering it. But you know what? This is what I do for you guys because honestly, I don't even know anymore. I hate my fucking life. Anyway, it shows all the animals all horribly mutilated and bloody. Otis was horrible. Not horrible, horrible. His stomach was cut open, and all of his entrails were cut up and pulled 5 feet away from his body, blood draining from his stomach. I'm not fucking kidding with any of you. I spell... You know, it pisses me off so much. I spelled stomach correctly in the first sentence, and I'm just so fucking lazy. I couldn't even spell it properly. in the middle of the floor. Then the camera points to Pig. His body was hung upside down, nailed to an inverted cross. No, I scratch that. Nailed to an inverted cross, and his face was apparently peeled off of his body, and also his stomach was cut open, and I couldn't even spell entrails right. Oh my god. Entrails dangled a few feet away from his head. On his head was carved an upside down pentagram. Sorry, I needed to do that. And the word pig was in the middle of the poopy pentagram. Oh god, why? When will this end? Then the camera pointed to a pot of boiling water, and the camera looked into the pot where there was nothing but blood and little bits of organ, and a boiling head floated. Floated, not floating. Floated. I started to scream and then weep. I was so freaked out at what happened. Sleep was out of the question. You're a fucking wuss. Then it finally zoomed into Bessie. Couldn't even spell that right. Luckily, she wasn't as bloody, as horribly mangled as the others were. The camera zoomed in on a little closer and then showed the word bitch written carved in her stomach, and it looked like her death was just suffocation. Thank goodness, because it confused me that he gave her a more humane death than the others. After a few seconds, you could hear faint crying in the background. It was Freddy. He was sitting in his stall covered in blood and bits of feathers. Apparently, he ate Peck. 1 like equals 1 pre-ors. But made sure Peck never got out of his stomach. And as I saw Freddy, apparently he was crying, but not tears. Oh no, 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 please Daddy, no. It was blood, and next to him was a dead priest with his robe on. A dead priest. A fucking exorcism. This takes the cake from so many lost episode creepypastas. You know what, my little shadows, I'm probably never ever going to complain about a Geoshia pasta ever again. Because you know what, at the very least, it doesn't incorporate exorcism into the lost episode pasta. With a dead fucking priest sitting there and, just dead, given the fact that he just didn't... Oh, what is my life? Ugh, let's just finish this shit. But covered in blood, Freddy was crying his eyes out, and you could hear him faintly say, I hate you, Satan, you dirty bastard. Fuck me, that hurt to say. After a few minutes, the sound of a police car came and arrested the bloody animal, and the scene cut to credits. My face was shocked, and my eyes kept on widening. What had happened was the worst thing to ever happen, and ever since then, I had tried to find the episode and more info, but Google search showed no results. I warn you all, if this happened to see an episode titled Back at the Barnyard Lost Episode or Freddy's Depression, do not watch it, or else it will suffer the consequences. Holy shit. That it finally is over. It's over, my little shadows. It's finally done. If you haven't already ripped the carrots out of your bleeding ears, you can now. It's finally over. It's done. It's out of the way. It's done. That was one of the worst things I had ever went out of my way and I've read. Out of all the past stories I seriously could have went out of my way and written, this is by far one of the worst pieces of absolute dog shit I've ever made. It's so fucking horrible, I don't even know where to begin. It was blood, gore, swearing, exorcism, priest, popcorn, blood, poop, skeleton penises. Did I seriously just say that? I'm sorry, everyone. I can't believe I went out of my way and I just said that. That was not intentional, but that's how fried my brain is. That was horrible. That was genuinely terrible in every way, shape, and form. I've lost brain cells sitting there and narrating this ungodly piece of shit. I'm sorry to all of you who had to sit there and click on this video. But you know what? Despite how god-awful it was, there was one good thing that it did do. It opened me up to really expanding on writing creepypastas. This isn't the only one that I actually went out of my way and did. I'm gonna be honest with all of you. In fact, if I actually go out of my way and I look, I could probably go out of my way and find the actual pasta, another pasta I'd wind up writing, although I'm probably sure I probably can't find it. Let me look it up real quickly. Let me see, back at the Barnyard. Let me see here. Well, I'm technically looking, and I can't really see much of anything at this point. So maybe that's a good thing. Actually, no, this is genuinely, probably a very good thing. I can't seem to find the other one, and yeah, I don't want to see it. It's probably about as bad. Maybe not as bad as this one, but definitely terrible. But like I said before, everyone has a start. This was exactly this is the first creepypasta I ever wrote. And you know, as much as I've been giving my past self a lot of crap for all this, I will go out of my way and say that this was my first pasta. It's not much of an excuse, but it is a statement. And I was basically just borrowing from other, you know, concepts, because that was the one thing that I wound up looking at. But you want to know a fun little story? I remember back then when Creepypasta Wiki had chat rooms. Anybody who's an old Creepypasta fan will know this, but I remember that Creepypasta Wiki had a chat room, and I remember logging in with somebody after I had posted that creepypasta, Freddy'sDepressed.avi, and I wound up sending it to him to sit there and read, and he actually wound up flagging it for deletion because it was just that bad. Thankfully, though, the guy actually wasn't rude about it, and he gave me a heavy load of constructive criticism to really sit there and expand on why the story was bad. Now, sure enough, it's taken me quite some time, but I can definitely say that now I've learned from the mistakes that I've made in my past relating to these stories, and now I do everything that I can to try and make as many decent pastas. I mean, hell, look how many Lost Episode creepypastas that I've written that, to a lot of you, were actually really, really, really good and definitely different. I do have intentions of going out of my way and writing more creepypastas and funny pastas in the future, like Patrick's Diabetes and others, including Austin Goes to Arby's. I do have intentions of doing all of that again. You know, keep on writing, keep on doing all of that. So, and you know, I'm happy because of it. I really am. Because it gives me an opportunity to really sit there and go out of the norm with Lost Episode pastas and come up with something fresh. And many of you have done the same thing as well. So, for any of you who are brand new to writing pastas or are just wanting to start up reading creepypastas, take this video into account. Take the story into account. You know, read it up and sit there and take as many notes as you possibly can to sit there and show how not to write a creepypasta. I guarantee you it will benefit you all to the best of your own ability. I can guarantee you that 110%. Anyway, my little shadows, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Sorry about this being about over half an hour long. I had to sit there and go out of my way and really work on it as much as I could. Anyway, my little shadows, if you enjoyed this video, if you didn't sit there and immediately rip out your eyeballs and stuff carrots in your ears after how god-awful the story was, if you're brand new to this channel, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure to hit the bell notification if you're new here. Just sit there and get updates on my new videos. I also sit there and make artwork on my community tab, so if you're interested in that, check that out as well. Thanks again for watching today's episode, you guys, and if you're brand new here to this channel, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, because I make new videos, well, as often as I possibly can. Thanks again for watching today's episode, and like always, roll the outro because I'm out. In fear and surprise, as your eyes widen, your mouth goes dry with each battered breath. You try to scream, your mind begs to thee, glued to your computer screen. The killers they slash, the tapes burn and crash. The cartridge you bought will be your final haunt. The rituals of hate will seal your fate. The tears you shed
gripping, horror-driven, nightmarish, gore-filled, terrorizing, hateful, burning, violent, rage-inducing, knife-slashing, blood-splattering, silent screams. Only time will tell if you will escape this online hell. Your horror-filled obsessions will come with its own regressions. Your pathetic screams will not be heeded in any way, because your nightmares will come at any day.